Okay, so we had a little bit of fun there on the selling. Um, we had failed above 275 on Tuesday, and we gapped down yesterday. We did have that 273 to trade against from the pre-market lows. We did flush down there on the open and held. Um, Came back up to 274. Initially couldn't break through, but eventually did break through right here. Around 1:30 in the afternoon, then got smacked again, but we did make a higher low above 273 and a half. And you can see this morning we're about to test, or we almost tested 275. So if we extend this out, we did on the 30-minute at least, after the retest on the open of 273, get back above this and then held it in the afternoon. And so the good thing about this, though, now is we actually have some prices to trade against. After the new all-time high here, we saw some selling. We pulled back. I guess where we bottomed basically was the low from a couple of days ago, from Monday. So we have 273. I said 273 to 275 on the top of the game plan. But obviously, if we get above that 275, we want to see if we can touch that 20 cent where we failed 2 days ago. But either way, a consolidation just below 275 or above, and then a break in either direction, there's a trade. Ideally, we'd get another type of day where we tested this entire range intraday. Some good volatility. So just trade against these levels. And then on IWM, it continues to kind of just lurk up here at the 155 level. I noticed yesterday when the SPYs were getting hit, pulling back to the support earlier in the week, we didn't actually get that in IWM. It was showed a little bit of relative strength here. Didn't test the 153.60 area. I have alerts 155.40, 155.50. If we do get a break through that high, we know that you can just get some pretty sizable moves very quickly in this thing. It's now spent, it's a good amount of time consolidating here from December 19th. It's about almost a month now from when it first put in that high of 155. So it's probably building up some energy. If we get a couple more days between 54 and 55, have some pretty good energy on a break to the upside. Okay, so SNC, the news broke intraday yesterday that they were going to buy, supposedly somebody had the story that they were going to buy, was it DST? Yeah, DST for $84 cash. So initially it was interesting, like the market wasn't sure what to do initially. It popped up and then, let's just look at the 2-minute. The market wasn't sure if they liked the idea of these guys buying them. Then they very quickly said, oh, it is a good idea, because you can see after the initial pop and then the drop to 51.5, it very quickly got up to 44, had a second leg up to 46, and then in the afternoon topped out at 48. We're gapping above that this morning. Seems very much overdone to me at this point. So let's... It's in a strong uptrend. Just on a percentage basis, this move since yesterday morning, it's almost 20% since yesterday morning. Even if the deal is really good. So what I have is I have a script to short it here on the open at around $50. Stop above, a little bit above 51, on the idea that this is just a little bit overdone. I'll look for a down move to 48 and then kind of see what happens. So we have 46. If they really crush it. So a lot of buying in here in this 40 going into 46. It defended 46.5 all afternoon. You can see why 48 is where it topped out here. If it actually gets below 48 and holds and consolidates and breaks to the downside, this is your target area right there. Happy to see if it will then bounce, turn its way back up to 48. I'm just going to play off of these big levels, but need some sort of failure around the 50 area. So they're buying a little bit of here above. You can see 10,000 shares, 10,000 shares, 13,000 shares. So we'll see right on the open if it can pop up into this area and then start to hold below 50, play the move back down to 48, 48 and a half, then evaluate. Delta, DAL. So this one, let's go to the daily on this. So they beat pretty easily. The revenues were okay, but what's more impressive was the EPS beat. And they did do an assessment of the tax cut, the corporate tax cut, how that's going to impact them next year. And it's going to be pretty good because they raised guidance quite a bit, even though they cut guidance for next quarter. So it is gapping to a new all-time high. The first time it got to 52 was a little bit over 2 years ago, the end of 2015. So if we say 10% above that, puts us where it is right now in the pre-market right here. It's really not that. Obviously, all the airlines got killed in this down move here in 2016. They all came back. I don't think they're all making new highs though. It's pretty impressive technically. All right, so initial reaction took it to 50 and change. They pulled it down about $1 here. Some volume came right back in, pushed it up to 50 and change again, failed again. So we have our area to trade against, even though I put none for resistance. That's just a reminder, if it gets through pre-market resistance, you got to be very careful being short if they could just spike it up all the way to 60 or something. And we have some support in the pre-market, 57.25. See, it just touched it again here. And below that, my first support based on the longer term chart was 56.80 and then 56. So we basically have about a 2 ATR range to work with here. If it fails, the pre-market resistance comes all the way into 56. It only does 7.5 million shares, so we could easily be looking at 15 to 20 million shares seems about the right number. So it's going to be liquid. These airlines always get a little bit nutty at some point, maybe a little bit on the open. So you got to be careful. But if I saw a quick spike and then some selling above 58, and it could get above, like, say, 58.25, I would short some. And I'd want to see it very quickly get back down below $58 then. Play for a move back into this range. And then also happy to look to see what happens on the open here against this 56.80. KBH. So this one, another one that looks really good technically. So this was being bid up into earnings. So in December, it took out the high, came back in, did a retest to the bottom of this consolidation, and started to hold above the high here a couple of times. And they definitely bought it ahead of earnings. It's a decent sized move for KBH. So first thing we want to look at is the 36 resistance on the open. Yeah, I mean, what was impressive to me about this one was they had the big beat, also had the 10% earnings beat, but they did it with only a much smaller increase in revenue. So it means they're really sized correctly and able to, each incremental dollar of revenue that's coming in, they're really crushing it on the profit side. I think the market should like that, but we'll still trade it off of this, use this 36 as an inflection right on the open. And if it fails there, we want to see it come in and see what it does at 35.50. If it also fails at 35.50, then play it for a move back in. My first real support, I guess, is the prior high is the gap fill. And we've seen this a lot. I know I probably mentioned this most times we talk about the home builders where they'll report a good number and then they'll gap up and then fill. But in this case, the overall view on home builders now with the numbers that have come out recently have been really strong for the industry. I'm a little bit more skeptical on the fill. So unless I see like a failure here and a very clean break below this pre-market support, I'm not going to be thinking about the gap fill. I'm going to be thinking about it kind of supporting and making a new high. The next one is KODK. I don't know if you guys have the ability to short it. The firm is extremely heavily short this right now. I think from an average around maybe 11 or something. But it's gapping down this morning. Just glancing at stories last night, it seems like most people are calling it a scam and complete BS, and you can't be long this thing. I mean, you would think under normal circumstances that would cause it to go back down to $8, $7. But and the other thing about it is it's not that low a float. I think it was somebody said yesterday on the desk it was like maybe 100 million share float. So normally when these things have a 5 million share float or 10 million, it's much easier to play hot potato and keep them bid up for a while. But with that big a float, it's easier for people to get shorted and push it down. And then you also have obviously the people who want to get the hell out or don't, longer term holders who probably don't think it's worth more than $5 or $6 a share. So you have that pressure. So from a technical standpoint, it's gapping below 10. We said use that 10 as potential support yesterday. It did hold it. So we were right about that. It went from 10 up to 12. So if you were buying it to 10, you made a lot of money on this pop. And at the end of the day, it came back down. The people were bidding a little bit higher. Anybody who took it out overnight long is being punished with the gap down below 10. You can see that they've tried to push it above once already and it's failed. If it gets above 10, what you want to see, if you're long it, is very quickly for it to get above this blue line. And if it does, the first thing you'll do is look to see what happens at 11, and then it's 11.70, $12. But right now, if you're shorted, you're feeling pretty good. Topped out in the morning, made a lower high, couldn't get back above 11 at the end of the day. It did in the after hours. So you'd want to see it. You want to see another lower high here at 10.50, 10.60. SVU. So this one, so right on the open, it failed at 19, came straight down, and then consolidated, couldn't hold back above 17, then tested the long-term support, and people were waiting there, I guess, to buy it at long-term support. But overall, pretty negative reaction. I would say this morning, if it popped up to 17.30 to 17.50, I'd give it a shot on the short side and look to see if it retested the long-term support again. If it takes out yesterday's low, then a test of 16. SIG, I thought this one, you couldn't have nailed this one any better in terms of, we talked about where to short that. You can rewatch the morning meeting. But they got the bounce right back up. We talked about bouncing up to afternoon support from the prior day. It got it, the 56.5. It failed there. We talked about looking for a move right back down to 54. It actually sliced through that. I want to just remind you. So when we're talking about, it gets the bounce. People are like, it bounced. I'm not out of the money anymore. They start to sell, and then other people start to sell. And we talked about looking for a move just right back down to this kind of pre-market breakout area to 54. If you get the quick move down there, you can see it pops right back up to 55. You want to cover at least half, if not 3/4. Then once you see it holding below that area, then you can look for the leg down to the pre-market lows 52. But you really do, when it comes down this quickly into this area, you need to cover some, because this little wick back up here could have could have gone right back up to $56. In this case, it popped to 55 and went right back down through. But you got to be really careful in these situations in the first 15, 20 minutes where things just can fluctuate a lot. Then once you saw it get below the 54 and consolidate, if you were shorting it against 53.60 here, that would have been fine. You may have been stopped out on this little wick right here. But the rest of the day was very weak until it came back and it retested, looks like 52, 85, 53 again. So as long as it's holding below 53, you can consider it weak. If it gets above 53 and consolidates and starts to break to the upside, you can play it for a reversal right back up to 54, 55.
Opportunities were, as well as maybe some things that we're looking at heading into the afternoon session. So I really encourage you to take advantage of that trial.